This
Regional Planning
conference will now be recorded.
Commission for November 3rd to order at 7:02 p.m. I have to note that due to Governor Faith Baker's suspension of some of the open meeting rules, we will be taking votes by um, roll call. Uh, First thing here, I'm sorry, I need to fire up my other computer. I'll be with you in 1 second. First part here is introductions. In doing that, I will just read off a list of the attendees as I have them. If at the end I miss you, please speak up. On my list here, we have Jason Staton. Alan, you don't need to say here. Alan Pease, Amanda Reed, Brian Doherty, Dean Valier, George Cahill, Glenn Eaton, Guy Corbacero, myself, Holly Ford, Jessica DeRoy, John Telepiak, Karen Chapman, and Kyle Nartowitz. Have I missed anybody?
Roger is here.
Oh, Roger. Okay, very good.
Mr. Chairman, Linda Quinlivan as well.
Okay, very good. Linda Quinlivan and Roger Hoyt are here that I did not see on my list here. Very unusual. Again, I'm having that problem. So those are two people that I did not list off. Okay, next on the agenda is announcements. Does anybody have any announcements they'd like to make? Not hearing any, we'll move on to approval of October 6, 2022 MRPC minutes. They were put up on your list of documents about mid October, so they've been around a while. Do I have any additions, corrections on the minutes from anybody? If not, I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. And as I said, they are on the list of documents on the website. So if you want to go look at them afterwards, go right ahead. Do I have a motion to accept as presented?
I'll move to accept the minutes as presented of October 6th.
Okay, that motion was made by Alan Pease. Do I have a second?
I'll second Amanda Reed.
Okay, seconded by Amanda Reed. Okay, do I have any comments in regards to the minutes? If not, I will call the roll and please please say aye or not when I call your name. First, Alan Pease.
Aye.
Amanda Reed.
Aye.
Dean Valier.
Abstain, not present.
Okay, Jeff Tillotson.
Aye.
And I have to mention that I did not, Jeff was not mentioned in the beginning as an attendee. Next person is Jessica DeRoy.
Abstain, I was not there.
Okay, John Telepiak.
I abstain. I wasn't present either.
Okay, Kyle Nartowitz. Kyle Nartowitz, excuse me. I see he gives a thumb up. So he says aye. Roger Hoyt.
I'll abstain. I was not present.
Okay, and Stacy Donahue. She does a thumbs up for a yes. And is there anybody I missed? Well, I guess this list is correct this time, so the minutes are accepted unanimously. Next item is a cash schedule. And since our treasurer is not here tonight, Linda, would you like to present this?
Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Okay, so the opening balances from September 30th, 2022, the total opening balances, I should say, is $848,423.23. Between cash receipts and transfers, that we took in $86,508.60. So the total cash on hand before this warrant was $934,931.83. The all cash disbursements equaled $100,448.01, which brings us to the balance after the warrant of $834,483.82. And that's it.
Okay, very good. Do we have any questions for Linda? Not hearing any questions. I would entertain a motion to accept the cash schedule as presented, subject to audit.
I'll move to accept the cash schedule as presented, subject to audit. Alan Pease.
Oh, okay, very good. Alan,
Jeff Tillotson will second.
okay, and we have a motion and second. Do we have any other comments or questions before I call the roll? Not hearing any, I will call the roll. Alan Pease,
Aye.
Amanda Reed,
Aye.
Dean Valier,
Aye.
Jeff Tillotson,
Aye.
Guy Corbacero votes aye. Jessica DeRoy,
Aye.
John Telepiak, I see. John's got his hand up. So I imagine that's an aye. Let me get back here. I got lost for a minute. Kyle okay, it came back. Kyle Nardowitz. Kyle does a thumbs up. Roger Hoyt
Aye.
and Stacy Donahue.
Aye. Can you hear me? Aye.
Yes, I can. Thank you for
Yes.
the ice.
All right. Thank you.
All
Good.
right.
Having
Did I
audio
miss it?
issues tonight. Yeah.
Great. Did I miss anyone? Not hearing that. Anybody missed? The cash schedule is accepted unanimously, subject to audit. Okay. The next item on our agenda is guest announcements and questions. So this is the point here where George Cahill, you did submit a summary of what you're going to say, but is there, and it is on our website. Is there anything you'd like to add to this, or would you like to comment on it, George?
No, we are working on several projects. I already submitted, and if anybody has any question, I will answer. Of this project, or if you like, I can repeat them. We are working on Fitchburg Intermodal Transportation Center rehabilitation project, which will be replacing the roof with a new color too. We're using the blue color instead of green. And Mart anticipates the completion of the project by December. The other project we are working on is Mart Bus Shelters Grant. As you know by now, Mart has been awarded $180,000 for bus shelters through MassDOT. MART will be installing bus shelters in Fitchburg, Leominster, Gardner, and Atoll. And also, just recently, MART installed 2 shelters, one in Gardner and one in Fitchburg, under the 5307 funding program. The other project we're working on, and it is going to be completed by this month, finally, the construction of phase 3 of Depot Square pedestrian plaza in Air. And the phase 3 of the project is the restroom, a new fountain, waiting shelter, and lighting of the plaza. And also we're working on installing fencing in Air at the rail trail east of the parking facility. All that will be completed by this month. The other thing we are working on, and we start, is as part of MART, the system-wide bus route evaluation and schedule update. Just last Monday, October 31st, Atoll Orange bus route start running on a new schedule, serving a new neighborhood at Pickwick Exchange Street area, which is north of the Atoll Town Hall. And also we add a new stop at North Quabbin Family Physician. And a part of that project will be evaluating every single bus route in the system. Any question? I'm done.
Mr. Chair, Jeff Tillotson from Air.
Yes, Jeff.
Through you, may I ask a question to Mr. Connolly?
Oh, please do.
First of all, I'd like to invite everybody to, I think it's Monday at 10 a.m. We're having a ribbon cutting for the new waiting shelter at the Air train station. We're pretty excited about that. Come on down and please park on the upper deck of the parking garage. If you don't mind, though, I was surprised the other day when I was riding through that you've installed a fence along the opposite side of the sidewalk and the rail trail. I don't recall. I was with the planning board at the time, and I don't recall that the fence was ever part of the plans. But my first question is, how is the snow going to get removed? You now basically have built a tunnel. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Where are we building a tunnel? In the rail trail?
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Mr. Haley. So currently, when you leave Main Street, heading towards the Groton Street, so heading north on the rail trail from where it meets Main Street to where it begins at Groton Street, on the left-hand side, you have a parking garage with bollards, and on the right-hand side, you got a chain link fence all the way. And I'm curious, first, it just creates a tunnel. I'm hoping that people on bicycles don't hit the fence. But the other question is, when we get to a situation where there's going to be snow on the ground, unless the snow, I don't know where they're going to put the snow because the fence is right up against the sidewalk. And I'm wondering if that was considered before the fence was built. Thank you.
The fence, the reason for the fence was for the leaves getting from the hill to the parking garage and creating problems inside the facility.
So if I understand correctly, we built a 7-foot chain link fence to keep leaves out of a garage and took away the place to put the snow. Thank you.
George, it doesn't sound like you have an answer for that. at the moment.
No,
Could you go back and answer that for the next meeting, or?
yes, I will get more information from the engineering company.
Thank you. And I'll
Well,
also be there Monday, so I'm happy to have a conversation if they'd like to. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
okay, great, thank you. Now, Mary Jo, Bohart, you have your hand raised. Do you have a
Yes, I had a
question?
very quick question for George from Fitchburg. The bus shelter that has been installed already looks fantastic. This is the one along Boulder Drive, and the public was asking me, and I didn't know the answer, if all of the bus locations have been already determined, or is Mart still taking feedback on where some of the other locations will be? Because there was positive reaction, I thought I would just ask George.
Well, we are open for all the new recommendation. You can send me all the recommendation people asking for.
Thank you.
Because
thank you,
part of the 180,000 will be getting more than 12 bus shelters. And every year, Mart decide to have $50,000 for shelter installation outside the 180,000. Please send me the information.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you, George. Any more questions of George, or do you have anything else, George?
No, thank you.
Thank you, George. Very good, very good. If no other questions for George or for anything else, we'll move on to administrative matters. Item 5.1. Glenn, this is your department. Please take it away.
Yes, sir. Thank you. There are about 6 or 7 items, and I hope to do them in about 6 or 7 minutes. 5.1, new Lunch and Learn series. So I talked about this at the last meeting, and we issued a survey. And basically, I'm going to get to the survey results in just a second. But we're talking to one of our colleague agencies, one of our sibling agencies, Central Mass Regional Planning Commission, and they have a successful Lunch and Learn series. And they hold it 1 day a month at noon, from noon to 1. And it's basically available for all local officials. And the topics are not just planning, but they try to bring speakers for other topics as well. So, bluntly, if Brian wanted to talk about pavement management, or if we wanted to have a speaker come from CMRPC to talk about EOPS funding, or anything's on the table, if a local official wants us to have the topic on, then we want to do this once a month. So Jason, if you could go down to where it says Q1 in bold, please, at the bottom of that screen. Basically, and I want to credit Karen Chapman, because the survey results basically came back and they said, hey, of about the 20 options we gave for first, second, third, fourth, and last week of the month, Monday through Thursday, about those 20 odd options, the top 3 were the first week of the month, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And I happened to mention this to Karen about a week ago. And I said, well, I guess, the People's Choice Award is the first week of the month. And she observed that, well, the Planning Commission meets typically the first Thursday of the month, sometimes the second Thursday of the month. Excuse me. So instead of saying we're going to pull the trigger on one of these days, we really have to rethink when we're going to do these. Although it was the fan favorite was the first week of the month. The second week of the month wasn't that bad, but if we do the second week of the month, we still might have second Thursday meetings with the commissioners. I think no matter what day we choose, we're going to bump into something else. So I'm going to talk to the department heads and see if we can make this happen, be respectful for the survey responses, and try to come up with the best that works for everybody, and not to be too burdensome on everybody. I'm concerned about the staff, and I want to make sure we're all okay. So that's the takeaway on question 1. Question 2, the topics. Oh, and by the way, all the survey results are in a PDF. They're in the handouts download for this tonight. So question 2, I don't know where it went. Sorry. Is this question 2? Oh, you went to, thank you very much, Jason. You're going to the survey results. Thank you, the PDF itself. So if you want to go to number 2, please, Jay, that'd be great. So what topics would you like to hear about? Updates on recently passed legislation, government grants, state and local zoning issues, GIS, and updates to MBTA communities. Those were the top 5. Jay, you can go down to the third one. There are only 4 questions, so we can zip through this pretty quickly. Those are all the responses, full text. We asked people because obviously we have a lot of peers that would know something, like planners or volunteers. Would you like to ask, be an expert on the topic? Basically 3 people said, sure, I'd like to do that. And then a bunch of people, I think like 22 said, I'm not sure. So maybe they would. So I think we have a lot of good people in the region that would like to talk on something. So why not? So the door is open to not just staff, but peers from city and town halls, and down, people from outside of our region. So we'd like to mix it up throughout the year. Test it through June of this till the end of the fiscal year, see how it rolls, and then ideally keep it going for the next fiscal year. And Jay, could you go the last question, please, number 4, which is you answered if you answered yes and you'd like to speak on what? Somebody said downtown revitalization, the needs of 68 people 60 and older, and then hazmat, hazard mitigation planning, and then open space and recreation planning processes. So that's just the gist. We're going to take this forward. I don't think it's prudent to implement something like this in November or December. Let's get through the holiday season. Be kind to everyone and start this in January. So that's the main takeaway for folks is, there's a lot of desire for this. I was pleased to see that. I think we have a lot of people that want to step up, not just staff and be speakers or facilitators, to just have a meeting over your tuna fish sandwich or tomato soup or whatever from noon to 1 on a certain day. We'll get back to you, but we're going to plan this a little more carefully and do the right thing. I can move on to 5.2, Jason, if you want to go back to the handout, sir. If there are any questions, certainly, Mr. Chairman, I can pause, but I'll rock and roll if you want. So credit to Holly Ford and other people have contributed to this. Basically, employee morale boosting programming. This is information only also. It became increasingly important, and I'm glad Holly brought this to my attention several months ago because I was so, mired in, the day-to-day that, she said, look, with COVID and other things, improving morale is very important. It's like, yeah, you're right. My head wasn't, off the desk, and I wasn't thinking that. So we bounced it around a lot back and forth and pulled in some other people. And so we had an apple cider and donut day one day. We're going to have a slippers at work day. We had a Halloween decorating contest among the 4 departments, and I just want to put it in print. We had independent judges, and they chose transportation department's entry. So congratulations to the transportation planners. It was a lot of fun. It was just a blast, in admin and finance. We actually had an interactive play, and in transportation, they were the winners, and they had a certain vehicle, and the name of the vehicle were being nameless. Brian, if you want to throw that out later, that's your call. It's fine. It's okay. But it was, I think it was, running over a witch's uniform or costume or something. It was hysterical. But why management does these things is you want to make sure you're doing some fun stuff with the staff and they can have a little bit of fun at work. But it's also about team building. And, it was fun for me to work with my 3 teammates and colleagues in a different way. That wasn't work. It was about what to do. And Holly is a playwright. I just want to say that. And I'll move on to 5.3. So, Jason, would you scroll down, please, sir? Which is, so we're going to meet next week with a representative from Ricoh. Ricoh is the company we typically, historically, MRPC has purchased. It's printer, scanner, faxers, devices, copier machines, all in one. As we know these days, all 4 are combined in one. And Ricoh made an annual visit online with me a couple weeks ago, and they said, do you have any other needs? And I said, we did something almost 20 years ago. We digitized all the minutes of the organization, the typewritten minutes from, the 60s through the O's, essentially. And we took eight banker boxes, digitized all 8 of them, and those are available now. And then we went to the Secretary of State and asked if we could destroy the extra copies because the world's going digital. And you have to go through this process. You can't destroy a public record unless the Secretary of State's Public Records Division says it's okay to do that. So this is not about destroying records at all. So I want to make it clear, this is about salvaging records and reducing bulk paper when we're approved to do so by the Secretary of State. We have a lot of bankers' boxes of a lot of paper. I won't go into the details about what we have. If you want to ask, I'll tell you. But you have to balance the storage. How much can you store in a closet, and how much can you put on digitally? We're about to, again, eliminate some file cabinets because the world is storing things digitally. Not just up in the cloud, which we do, but then Jason backs up our stuff. You know, we have our own box, you know, we have our own, you know, football, if you will, with our information on site. So our stuff is backed up and stored safely, but we can reduce some paper. So we're going to get a quote. That's really the bottom line. And we'll see where that leads. That might be something that hits this year's budget. It might be something that hits next year's budget. We'll see. I'll get back to you on this. Hopefully we'll have a quote by the December meeting. If not, you'll see something in January. 5.4, Jason, if you could scroll down. Thanks a bunch. So I really want to, now this is Karen Chapman's world in planning and development. There's a new program for digital equity planning to develop digital equity plans. And this is ARPA money that's flowing through Mass Technology Collaborative and Mass Broadband Institute under Mass Tech, really. And they're going to make services available to images here. I won't read this. The italicized is ripped right off of the Mass Tech's website for an RFP that Karen responded to on behalf of MRPC to be a qualified consultant. So this program, here's a takeaway. If you want a free digital equity plan about, you know, really improving digital access for people who are underserved, and pick a group, we have many of them throughout the region, then this is going to work like the DLTA program, where you send in response to a notice of funding opportunity that will be, I think, Karen, mid-November-ish or mid-December-ish. Okay, she's nodding. So soon, a community can go online and say, we want services, we want a plan. Then Mass Tech will assign a consultant that it's pre-approved by people like Karen and others who have already submitted proposals in response to the RFP to say we're able to do digital equity plans. That's the gist. If you want to read this and get back, if you have questions, I would point to Karen. I'm happy to take calls too, but she's really the expert in this. I'm happy to talk about this as well, and we'll walk you through this. So I think we can move on to the next, unless somebody has a question. I'll keep moving to the next one, if you would be so kind. Jason, go to the bottom of that one. I don't know if any takeaway or, yeah, there's a NOFA that's going to come out soon, mid-November. Okay, thanks. The next one, 5.5. I just want to do a monthly quick couple sentences on this every month, so that MRPC paid $350 for me to be, and I was accepted to be in the, what is it? Neshoba Valley Chamber of Commerce Executive Roundtable Program. Boy, that's a mouthful. Basically, it's a few CEOs, about 7 or 8 of us that sit around a table, and we all help each other through problems at a monthly meeting for 2 hours every month for 9 months. So there's nine people around the table. And for me, I put a couple of takeaways for the last meeting we held last week. You know, long range planning, importance of delegating, lining up sufficient resources for current and future work. And you know, last week we were at a certain company at Devon's, and we were with that CEO. She's a part of the group, and she was, you know, struggling with what to do with her business. And even though all the other people around there are private sector people, it doesn't really matter, because, you know, the RPA, while it gets about half its funds for entitlement planning, then we go compete for the other half. So, you know, whoever runs the place, if this is really, and all the department heads and all the staff, what we are running collectively is an entity that's government, but we sing for our supper. So we're like half government, we're half consultant. So there's a lot of private sector entrepreneurial items, task issues, takeaways, strategies that we have to implement to keep the place running and deliver our services, meet our goals. So I'm getting a lot out of it, which is great. So you get a quick 2 sentences or 3 sentences every month. 5.6 is an action item. And can we go to 5.7, please, Jason? And then I'll go back on this, because 5.7 is informational. And then we can go back up to the only vote request that I have this evening. So the other matter is we'll give you a report at the December meeting, which, please correct me if I'm wrong, folks. I think the first Thursday of December is the 5th, but I hate shooting from the hip. I just did, so I'm looking for a nod or people or a thumbs up, or Karen's saying no. So if anybody wants to throw out their old date, whatever the first Thursday in December is, that's the next meeting.
December 8th.
It's the first.
8th. So we'll meet
The
on the
meeting
8th.
will be on the 8th.
Okay, we won't meet on the 1st. Thanks, Hug. We'll meet on the 8th then. Thank you. I need the help from the team. I don't know everything, folks. So we'll meet on the 8th. We'll give you a better report because, some funding has been awarded and the cash is in our savings account to deliver the services over the next 2 years, like planning assistance grant. There's some more funding coming down the road, but I need better data and better numbers before I say, hey, well, what's going on? Because you said you had about $1.7 million in projected expenses in June, about $1.5 million in revenue with a $220,000 deficit for about 13.2%. So give us a deficit reduction report. And that's what we're going to do on December 8th. It's going to move in the right direction. The deficit's going to shrink, and that's a good thing. But I really want to be secure about our numbers before we do that. Linda, my fiscal, did you want to say anything about this? Are you good? I want to make sure.
No, I'm fine, Glenn. Nope.
Okay, thanks.
Nothing to add.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So Linda and I are pouring over the numbers with the department heads to make sure we're accurate for December 8th. So if we can go to 5.6, Jason, you're reading my mind. Thank you. Here's the gist of this. So we have in our savings account, which is Massachusetts Municipal Depository Trust, or the MMDT account, there's a number in this report. It's over $300,000. Jason, can we find the paragraph where there's a $300,000? There's a bunch of dollar figures. There we go, right there. So the current balance in MMDT is about $410,000, 363 and change in the general, and then there's 463 in a separate MMDT other post-employment benefits, or OPEB account. In December 18, 90,000 in funds that were originally returned to MRPC from MEC Inc. were transferred to the MRPC checking account, and then we threw that cash into the MMDT general account, which earns interest at a higher rate. By the way, we're earning interest in the MMDT account over $900 a month right now. That was the most recent report, $900, because we have so much money in there. So cash management is yielding us, a good yield on our investment of cash. That's what we want to do. Long term, I'd like to use cash for capital improvements, as opposed to having to appropriate everything all the time, because let's make this money work for us. See, what I'm requesting tonight is that we allocate about 50 grand of the 90 grand that we threw in that account to give the executive director and the staff some wiggle room so we can go out and hire some grant writing capacity by hiring one or more consultants. And here's really the issue. Here's the bottom line. What I've been doing since 2018, since we put that money in the MMDT, or we transferred it from MEC, from the windfall of selling some homes, finally getting our money back to MRPC. I'm saying, okay, that's a rainy day money, rainy day account, like we're all familiar with on town meeting floor, at the rainy day fund. And here's the issue with staff, and after doing this for 36 years, when you're delivering service on a grant-funded project, you're also expected to write a grant. Now, all the planning staff are still expected to do that. That doesn't go away. But we're so busy, bluntly, with a lot of ARPA projects and other things that are coming down the pike. We need to increase some grant writing capacity at the front end to work with planners to go get the grant money, to pull it in, so we can A, increase our services to our client communities, and then B, increase the revenue to like we have for 4 years. I don't want to blast it all. I want to take a piece of it, about half of the 90, and allocate it, grab some grant writing capacity through a consultant. I don't want an employee. It might be a couple of consultants. It might be a couple for 10,000 for the next 6 months, and we don't use the 50. I don't know. But I'm respectfully requesting to build some capacity so we have some flexibility, so management can go out and find some capacity to do that. And that's the gist of this. Jason, would you start at the top? I just want to go through each paragraph, make sure I've hit the highlights so I complete my report properly. Yeah, we can go. Okay, so I had a long meeting with the CMRPC executive director. If you'd stay on the first paragraph, please, Jay. Thank you. Thank you. And the CMRPC grew from 25 to 45 people in the last 5 years. And in this first paragraph, they're going after funds from the DEP for open space recreation planning, hazardous mitigation planning, and then housing production is a different fund, and then master plan is usually local, and some DLTA. but they're constantly grant writing. We're not doing it as much, and we need to build capacity. So second paragraph, yes, all the planners are expected, but it's a struggle. It's a balancing act, and we got some new people that we're still training in how to write grant proposals. So that's really another factor. Third paragraph, Jason. So augmenting grant writing capacity. I think I chatted about that. I don't want to chew the cabbage twice. ARPA is providing a lot of funding, as we know, to municipalities, and that's a part of what's going on. What's happening here is in FY23, FY24, FY25, through which ends June 30, 26, this ARPA money is just, the floodgates are open. And there are a lot of opportunities to do a shed load of planning now. Now, I'm also concurrently going to develop a 3-year plan, financial plan that says, okay, well, what do you do at the end of the 3 years? Because, you have to build capacity, but what happens, you could fall off a cliff and then lose a lot of people. So we have to go carefully. That's why I don't want to put grant writing staff on staff as W-2s. But the opportunity is now to help all of our communities with in so many areas. Bluntly, folks, I don't want to miss the opportunity to help our communities when the money's here to help. I said likely the funds, most likely all of them won't be used. We'll follow 30B in the procurement, obviously. I'll report monthly to let you know what's happening. And and Jason's always ahead of me. Assessment. Well, I'll assess the strategy in June before we adopt the next budget. So probably May, you'll get a report on how it worked for 6 months, let's say, and then should we continue it into the following year? I can see this. Maybe this is an annual allocation, and we'll take it year by year, as opposed to saying we're going to do this every year. No, I can't say that right now. I don't think that's the right thing to do. And then the resolution, be it resolved, the MRPC approves the transfer of 50 from the MMDT Trust depository account into the MRPC's checking. And those are the two names of the two accounts, so it's very specific, just so you know. And authorizes the ED to engage with one or more grant writing consultants. Again, they're 1099s, not W-2s, to prepare competitive proposals, thus increasing revenue to the MRPC and growing our planning services to cities and towns in the Montezuma region. I hope I was comprehensive in the report, not too wordy. Thank you for your time. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Do you have a resolution that needs to be read and passed?
I just read it, but if you guys want to read it again or so, however you want to do it, Mr.
Oh,
Chairman.
I'm sorry, that was.
It's okay, boss. No
I was
sweat.
doing my list of people. Okay, so
Thank
he
you,
read
Mr.
the
Chairman.
resolution. Do I have any discussion on that? Any questions of Glenn? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept or deny.
Move to accept the resolution as read. Jeff Tillotson, Ayer.
Okay, very good. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
That's second, Alan Pease.
Okay, very good. Motion and second. Do I have any questions? No questions. I will call the roll and I'll see if my new system works here while I'm not paying attention. Roger Hoyt.
Aye.
Jeff Tillotson.
Aye.
Mary Jo Bohart.
Aye.
Jessica DeRoy.
Aye.
Stacy Donahue.
Aye.
Dean Valier.
Aye.
Amanda Reed.
Aye.
John Telepiak.
Aye.
Kyle Nartowitz. Kyle? Oh, I don't see a hand. Okay.
Keep on a thumbs up, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, there we go. I see it now down the corner of the screen. And Guy Corbusier, the chair, votes aye. So the resolution is passed unanimously if I did not miss anybody. Okay, very good.
You missed me, but that's okay.
Okay, Alan Pease.
It's still unanimous, aye.
Okay, very good. Still unanimous. So still not working great. Okay, very good. So that's all from you, Glenn. Okay.
Yes, sir, and thank you.
Now we do not go over everything that the MRPC is doing every month. We do it every 3 months, and today is an off month, so I'll just hit the departments and see if they have any information. And I'll start Item 6.1, geographic information systems.
I don't have any updates to report at this time.
Okay, any questions of Jason? No, if not, we'll go on to planning and development. Anything, Karen?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I just want to mention that I've been sending out emails to people, and I sort of want to get a poll of, are you receiving them? Are you on the distribution list? If you don't think you're on it, because I sent 2 or 3 this week about MBTA communities and other stuff. So Roger's giving me a thumbs up. If you're not, please email me. So there is, I sent out the MBTA communities options for technical assistance, and the deadline for the Mass Housing Partnership technical assistance is November 10th. So if your community is interested in that, we are a consultant on their list. So that, and then the MBI digital equity that Glenn was talking about, that RFP is coming out, like he said, mid-November. We, myself and 4 of our planners went to a 2-day training at Mass Tech Collaborative down in Westboro last week or 2 weeks ago, to build capacity on, find out what is digital equity and what would we be doing. So it's for our communities to determine where residents don't have access to internet. Do people who are not tech savvy, do they need training on how to use devices? Do they need devices so they can talk to their doctor or, join a meeting like this or what have you? So the money will be for each community to do planning around that, and it's supposed to reach all the residents in your community who have any issues with hooking up to the internet and making their lives easier. So that will be coming out mid-November. I'll send you an email with the information once it comes out. And I believe that's all I have. Any questions for me?
Well, Karen, I've been in Phillipston. We get a lot of requests that, from people in Royalston having terrible service for the internet. Any way they could get on with us, and that's really not possible. Maybe you could help out Royalston. Phillipston doesn't have a problem, but our lines go up to Royalston, and they're always asking if we could hook in, if they could hook in, but it's not. We can't do that. So
Is there
I think there's a need.
Is there a reason why it can't be done? Is there a barrier
because
to?
It's by community. I don't believe another town could get on. We have an agreement.
Right. So these are the things, these are the types of things, the data and information that we would be collecting from each community. Like, where are your trouble spots? And, would you be willing to go in on a regional? They said that 2 or more towns could get together and do a regional plan, or, just like a buddy plan. I don't know what else to call it. A buddy plan. So, there's a lots of opportunities. And hopefully they can take care of this issue. COVID, obviously, with the Zoom meetings and everything, shined a light, with schools having to buy kids devices and internet access and, so hopefully with all this money coming down, Mass Tech said, if we don't do it now, it's never going to be done. So, the state is in the process of writing a digital equity plan for the state, and that's based on all the community plans that we would write. So it's really important for each community to get involved with this. Any other questions? Thank you.
If not, thank you, Karen. Okay, the next is 6.3, transit and transportation. I think probably the main man from that department here tonight is Brian Donahue. Doherty.
Yep, Brian
sorry.
Doherty. I can give a quick update. The only thing I really have is we'll be having our joint transportation committee meeting next week, Wednesday the 9th at 2:30. And we'll also have an MPO meeting this month, the following Wednesday, which is the 16th at 1 o'clock, both virtually. And we'll be discussing some possible TIP amendments and also our regional transportation plan as well. So if there are any questions, please reach out to us. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, any questions of Brian? Not hearing any, we move on to new business. Do we have anybody that would like to bring up new business? If not hearing anything, last item on the agenda is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
before you
Karen.
adjourn, I just remembered one other thing. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
The Citizen Planner Training Collaborative training session schedule is out, so remind your planning and zoning board members that if they want to learn some new stuff or remind themselves of stuff, that all the trainings are virtual and they're really great information. Thank you.
Now, Karen, has emails been sent out on that?
Yes. I can send it out again if you'd like.
Okay, I would, because I don't think I got it, but then again.
Are you getting my emails? Because I always okay.
I'm getting some of the ones you're sending out, but I don't
okay.
remember getting CPT. So if you could resend that, I could
I'll
be
send
sure.
it again.
And I still have that problem with my saying they're bouncing back where they really aren't.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. This is Jeff Tillotson from Mayor. Karen, I got your citizen planner stuff, but I am keenly interested in the MBTA, and I did not get an email from you about that. So I'm curious if there's a problem out there.
Oh, I may have just sent it to Alan and Mark.
Then it would be fine. I'm no longer the chair, so I won't get it automatically. Thank you.
Oh, I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Great. If nobody else, now I will.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chair. Jeff Tillotson, Air.
Okay, Jeff, do I have a second?
Second,
That would be
Alan Pease.
Alan Pease. Okay. If there's no objection, I will call this meeting adjourned at 7:50 p.m. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you all, folks.
Good night.